Hello and welcome to this introductory video to Anki. Let me just start off by saying that this video is tailored towards first year modern Hebrew students at the University of Texas at Austin. And that's because we're going to be using a specific Anki deck or a set of electronic flashcards that is for use with the textbook in that class, which is Modern Hebrew for Beginners by Esther Raisin. Of course, if you're joining us from elsewhere, you're more than welcome to watch and learn a few things. Let me also say that this video is just to serve as an introduction to Anki, what it is, how it works a little bit. Again, specifically using that deck that I've created and that you can download for free, and I'll show you where online. But I will also be making some other videos. One, for example, talking about why Anki, and some of the second language acquisition theories and findings that inform the way I study language vocabulary and why I think this is a good way to do it. Of course, that'll also cover the pros and cons of this method of doing it, and some other study techniques. Also, there will be a video on some more advanced strategies for using Anki and for customizing the deck to suit your own needs, your own study habits, and how you want to finesse your learning method. But this video, again, is an introduction. And so, very first thing is we're going to go ahead and I'm going to show you where you can find Anki. So to download Anki, you're just going to go over to AnkiSRS.net. It's for free. You can download it on Mac. It's also for Windows. There are also apps for iOS or iPhone and Android. So you can see some of the download options here, also Linux, of course. So you can just go ahead and click on download, install it just like you would any program. Again, free of charge. This is all open source software. Once you've downloaded it, go ahead and install it. I already have it installed, so I'm just going to pull mine up right here. And as you can see, this is what you see, very simple. Blank, there's just a default deck, but we're going to go ahead and import a deck of flashcards to use along with our textbook, our Hebrew textbook. So to do that, once you're in Anki, you're just going to go ahead and click on this button down here. It says Get Shared, which will send you over to this page that contains shared Anki decks. And so you can just go ahead and search Modern Hebrew, for example. They have lots of shared decks for different languages and geography and other things. Currently, it looks like there's only 3 decks for Modern Hebrew, and this is the one we're going to click on, Modern Hebrew for Beginners, Raisin, to use with our book. There is some information on how the deck works and what's included in it. Here's a little sample image of what it'll look like, and I'll show you that once we get it installed. And a few sample cards. But let's just go ahead and click Download, which will actually download the file itself to our computer. Once you have it downloaded, you can just go ahead and click on it, and Anki should open it up automatically, or you can go back to Anki and go to File, Import, find the file wherever you downloaded it to, and open. And Anki will just go ahead and import that. So as you can see, it imported 254 cards. This is still a work in progress, so actually by the time you download it, there should be a lot more, and it'll be complete with images for every card. Right now, I'm still working on it. But let me show you what that'll look like. So right here we've got the deck, Modern Hebrew for Beginners, Raisin, and as you can see, it's asking us to study 20 new cards. My computer is getting a little bit hot because of the recording, so let me just give me a second to turn on the fan to high a little bit. Okay, so let's go ahead and click on this. This is how we study. We click on it and we click on Study Now. Did you hear that? Shalom. So as you can see, this deck comes with audio recordings of every single Hebrew word or phrase that you're studying. This very first one, Shalom, Shalom. Of course, we know what that is. You press Enter or Show Answer down here. And that's what it is. Hello, hi, bye, or peace. It also includes images for all of the words that we'll be studying, or at least most of them, which comes in handy. So let's just break this down really quick. As you can see, this has the Hebrew word without vowels, which is how you will most often be seeing it. Here it is with vowels. That's just to help you know how to pronounce it. An English translation, obviously, or a meaning, and then the image. Now, once we're here, we can click on again, good or easy, and that's just telling the computer how we did. Trying to remember it. So let's just click on good, and I'll show you on the next one. So Shem Shemot. Do I remember what that is? If I do, then I can go ahead and click show answer, or if I don't and I need a reminder, show answer. Oh, that's right. Name and names. Shem Shemot. Okay. So this is where these buttons come in handy. If I remembered what the word was, I click on good. If I don't remember what it was, I click on again. Easy, I wouldn't suggest using it very often. It's really just if this word really is extremely easy for you at this point, you can click on that. But that just means you won't see it for a long time. And actually right here you can see, if I click on again, Anki will show me this word again in less than 1 minute. If I click on good, it'll show it to me in less than 10 minutes. If I click on easy, it'll show it to me in 4 days. This is the very first time I'm seeing this word, so this is the time interval that Anki has, and I can customize that. But the more I see this word and the better I do at recognizing it, the longer that these time frames become. That's called spaced repetition. And it's really the key aspect of Anki that I think makes it much better at actually memorizing and keeping these words in your memory for a long period of time. And it's something that a lot of other software doesn't have. For example, Quizlet is really popular. It does have some spaced repetition now. It's kind of new. I don't like the system too much, but you can try that out. Also, Memrise does have some spaced repetition, but not everything does. And Anki, I think, because it's so customizable, it's really helpful. I'll talk more about that in some other videos. Again, this is just a brief introduction, but I think it's so cool that I just want to talk about it all the time. So let's go ahead and click on good. Okay, Shmi. Ooh, I don't remember what that is. Okay, show me the answer. My name. Oh, that's right. Okay, I'm going to click on again then. This will just keep going and going, and you can see the numbers down here. 17, that's how many new words I have left to study today. 17 new words. For red, that means review. So these are words that either I've gotten wrong, that I couldn't remember, or that I did remember, but Anki wants me to study them again today because I haven't studied them enough. And 0, right now, that's how many words I have studied today that I did good on and that I won't need to study again today. Okay, I think that's enough for right now. Let me just go ahead and go back to decks right here. So my one deck. Let me show you how you can see a little bit more in depth what's going on with these cards. If I click on this right here, this is statistics. But actually what I want to do is I want to go to browse. I usually do all of this with keyboard shortcuts, so I don't really know where the buttons are very well. So this is the browser, and the browser is where I can see, if I find my deck over here, Modern Hebrew for Beginners, I can see all of my cards listed in a spreadsheet format. Let's go ahead and look at more of them. So as you can see, there's a lot, and there's a lot of information on here that I'll go over in some other future videos. But the real key here that I want you to become familiar with is this part down here. These are the fields for this note. Anki does have a little bit of a steep learning curve, which is actually why I'm making this video. It took me a little while to understand all the terms and all the behind the scenes, kind of how Anki works and why it does what it does. But I think it's important to understand just the basics. And one of those basics is the way that Anki organizes your cards. So Anki groups your cards into what it calls notes. Now a note is essentially one study item. So for example, I have Shalom here. That's a note. Shalom, and I have the English translation, and I have some other things that I'll go over. This is a note. Now this note, if I click on cards, you can see there's two different cards that this note contains. So one of these cards is Hebrew to gloss, meaning translation or English, and the other one is from gloss to Hebrew. So here I can see the front preview, and the back of this card. So a good way of thinking about it is that each of these cards is just like a physical card that you'll have when you're studying with a traditional cardboard set of or paper set of index cards, flashcards. So here's the front, it just has Shalom, and the back still shows me Shalom, but it also shows me the picture of the translation, which is exactly what we saw before. There is some code that goes behind all of this that tells me when to play certain sounds, when not to, etc. I won't go into that right now. The other card, this is a separate card, but within the same note because it's the same term, it's the same study item of Shalom, but the other card for Shalom is essentially the other way around. So this goes from English to Hebrew. Now you'll notice here, this has this little text entry field, and I'll show you how this works when I'm actually studying. This is just to edit the cards. But this card is the other way around. It goes from English to Hebrew. So first, it shows me the English, hello, hi, bye, peace, the picture. And it asks me to enter, to type in what the Hebrew is. Now, don't worry if you don't know how to type in Hebrew just yet, or if you don't really want to type it. You don't have to. You can just go ahead and press enter or next or whatever. You are the one who gets to choose whether you got this right or wrong. So this is just to encourage you to type it because it does help to write it repetitively. And this is the back of the card. So once I type it in the front, the back essentially just tells me, okay, here's what you got right or wrong. Here's the answer, Shalom. And it shows me what I saw before still. Okay, so there's two cards. This deck specifically has two cards for each note, for each study item, for each term. Okay. Again, it is a little bit complicated, but once you get the hang of it, it actually is really nice. It's a really nice system for organizing your words. So let's go ahead and explore this down here. This shows me the fields that are on the note. So remember, the note is the study item. This is one study item. You'll see I have Shalom and Shalom. I have two of them. These are the same note, but they're two different cards, right? Card, Hebrew glossed and glossed to Hebrew. So these are the different cards, but you'll notice it's exactly the same down here. If I click on a different one, everything changes. All the fields change. Let's look at this one, Shalom, this note. So I have a Hebrew field, which says Shalom. Hebrew vowel, which says Shalom, but with vowels. A gloss, which is the English image. Again, we've gone over this. Audio. This is just an audio file that's linked to this note. There's some other ones on here that are really good for customizing your set of cards. I won't go into depth on them in this video, but you can add additional items such as part of speech if you'd like to study that. Context. You can type in a sentence that you saw this word in that you really want to remember how the word works within a specific sentence, a specific context, specific how it works within the syntax of this word or the sentence structure. There is a field for image source, and I've included this because all of these images that you'll see in this deck, all of them, are free to use. They have a Creative Commons license, I made sure. But just in case you want to find out where I got it from, I've included the image source on here. And sort number is essentially just the number that the word shows up in if you were to number every single vocabulary item listed in the textbook. So from 1 to however many there are, right? So this one is 2, and it just goes on and on. Okay, so those are the fields. So this is good to know if you're going to change anything. For example, you don't like this gloss, you don't like this translation. You don't think Shalom should tell you that it's hello, hi, bye, peace. It should say simply hello. Well, I can go ahead and erase this, and now it'll show me hello on the note on both of these cards. See, it changed it on both of the cards, right? You can do that for any of these cards. You can change the picture, whatever you want. You can even go ahead and record your own voice if you'd like to on here. Okay, I think that's enough for the browser. You won't be using this too much unless you really start customizing your card, so let's close that. This is what you'll see the most is the deck list and then the actual studying itself. Shmi. Okay, so remember, this is one kind of card from the front, this is the front, which is from Hebrew to English. Hebrew, and then show answer, English, my name, that's right. Let me show you how the other kind of card works. Now, don't worry about doing this that I'm going to do right here with options. You can customize everything in Anki is customizable. But I'm going to go ahead and unclick this. And it's simply just to make sure that I see the back of the card. Or sorry, the other card, which is English to Hebrew instead of just Hebrew to English. What that option does is if it's clicked, it'll, like it says, it'll bury or it'll hide related cards. So part of the same note. Today, it won't show me the other card that's tied to this note until tomorrow. I don't want to do that right now because I want to show you all of them. So let's go ahead and unbury that. Again, don't worry if you didn't understand any of that. You don't have to. This is just to show you the other kind of card. So Shmi, I'm just going to go ahead and go through these. Shimcha, okay, your name. Shmech, your name feminine. Let's just keep going. His name, her name, and le. I'm just clicking enter, enter, which just is the same as clicking good. Show answer, good. Show answer, good. Show answer, good. Okay, here we go. Now, this is a little bit different, right? That's because this is an English to Hebrew card. So this is what you'll see in those cards. I see the English, your name, masculine, singular, picture. I won't hear any audio, but what it's asking me to do is it's asking me to enter the Hebrew for this word, the term. Okay, so it's the other way around. So now I have to remember what the Hebrew word is. I'm going to go ahead and switch my keyboard to Hebrew. And I'm going to write Shimcha, okay, your name, masculine, singular, and I'm going to press enter. Shimcha. So it's all green, which means got it, 100%. Here's the answer with the vowels also. And now it's same. I can choose whether I got it wrong or whether I got it right. So I'm going to click right. Now your name, feminine, singular. I'm going to go ahead and type this wrong just to show you what happens. I'm going to write Shmi, my name, instead of your name. Enter. Oh, this is what Anki does to show you when you typed it in wrong. It shows you what you got right. It's green, but red, nope, got it wrong. And it'll show me how to type it incorrectly. Shin, mem, kaf, sofit, right? Instead of Shmi. And again, here it is. And so now I can click on again, which means it'll show it to me again in less than a minute. And it'll just keep going and going until I've exhausted all of my studying for today. You'll notice we started off with 20 due cards today. I've already studied a few, and so I have 15 more to go, and there are 6 new cards that I need to study today. This will only show you what's due today. I can customize that, of course. It starts off with 20 as the default, but I can go ahead and say if I want to study 100 cards today, I can change that. What I suggest for your class is that you study only a few minutes a day. Really, this isn't meant to replace your homework, obviously. You still have to do that if you want to get credit. This is meant as a supplement, just a few minutes. It really should not take you more than 5, 10, I would say absolute maximum, maybe 20 minutes a day. And that's only if you really are studying a lot of words. And that is because just a few minutes a day, it's easier to do. You're more likely to do it, and it actually just kind of works better, especially if you're doing spaced repetition with Anki. It'll keep track of what words you need to study each day, so you don't have to worry about going back and reviewing what you think you need. Anki tells you what you need based on your history. There are ways, of course, to study specific chapters, for example, and I've made sure that all the cards in this deck tell you what chapter they come from in the book, so you can customize that and study specific chapters. It's actually pretty easy to do in Anki if you want to study for an exam or however you want to do it, but I'll show you that in a separate video. So I think actually that is everything for this video. Actually, let me go ahead and show you one last thing. Up here, I mentioned this before, the statistics button. If I click on that, this shows me all of my studying in the past, all of it. You'll notice these graphs are blank right now except for this one little bar because this is today. But as time goes on, you'll see these bars starting to accumulate. This is 5 days ago, 10 days ago, 15 days ago, how many minutes I studied, how many answers I answered, how many cards, etc. the total number of cards in my deck, how many I know a lot, how many I know a little bit, I'm just starting to learn them. Um, and you can change this to show you a whole year worth of studying, the entire life of the deck, which for this deck, for us, it's only 1 day, the last month. This is a really good place to review your studying, and if, for example, let's say your teacher wants you to show proof of how much you've been studying your vocabulary on Anki, you can go ahead and click Save Image, and an image will save to your desktop. And so that way you have an image that you can print out or email to your teacher or to whoever and show them how much you've been studying your vocabulary deck. Anyway, I think that'll be it for today, for this video. I hope that helps, and I hope this gets you a little bit excited about using Anki to study vocabulary. Again, this isn't meant to replace anything else you're doing. It's really meant to amplify and give you develop a daily habit, for you to develop this daily habit of studying vocabulary just a few minutes a day. It definitely changes your learning experience in the language classroom. If you have any questions, go ahead and post them at the bottom of this video, and I'll do my best to answer them. Okay, well, good luck, and I'll see you in future videos. All right.